There is this massive, just complete cultural lie that we were all sold about adulthood, right? Like this idea that trading your chaotic city apartment for a house in the suburbs is somehow going to bring you peace.
Oh, absolutely. The great suburban delusion.
Literally. We buy into this delusion that once you get the yard and like the golden doodle and the open concept kitchen, you are suddenly insulated from the messiness of human behavior.
Right. You think you've traded the club for the cul-de-sac and it's going to be so quiet?
But the reality, I mean, the trenches of suburban warfare are just lined with pampas grass instead of barbed wire.
Yeah.
The backstabbing does not stop.
No, it just relocates to a home goods aisle.
Yep.
And it gets wrapped up in this really toxic, passive-aggressive smile.
Exactly. It is entirely covert.
Yeah.
So, babes, welcome back to the Snark Side. We love you, we see you, and honestly, living in the suburbs somehow involves the exact same amount of intense backstabbing drama as living in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Just with way more throw pillows and HOA meetings.
The psychological warfare is actually much more sinister because they disguise it as community building.
Which is why I am officially announcing to the Snark Squad that I am sipping on a spicy watermelon margarita right now to cope with the sheer chaos of this week's television.
Oh, I have mine too. The capsaicin on the rim of this glass is literally the only thing keeping me grounded right now.
It is medically necessary tonight.
Yeah.
So cheers to you, babes, and cheers to surviving another week.
Cheers. Because witnessing the mechanics of group manipulation end in a grown man throwing his soiled undergarments into a casual dining restaurant's trash can, I need a drink.
Oh my God, we're going to unpack the absolute tragedy of the Chili's incident, I promise. But first, before we head out to the valley, we have a mission.
Right, we need to establish the baseline of the environment.
Yes, we need to build the ultimate suburban chaos starter pack. Because this specific brand of neighborhood drama requires tools. It's an aesthetic shield, you know?
I am so ready to evaluate this. Set the scene for me. What is the baseline?
Okay, I'll pitch my top 3 items first. Number 1, you obviously need a giant Stanley Cup.
Oh, standard issue.
Right. But specifically, the 40-ounce tumbler in a limited edition pastel shade that you genuinely had to elbow a stranger for in a Target aisle. It's not even about hydration.
No, it's a stainless steel weapon. It signals to the other moms that you are flushed with electrolytes and have expendable income.
Exactly. Okay, item 2. Your foyer must feature exactly 3 unopened Amazon packages sitting by the door. You have no idea what's in them.
Wait, I do this. It could be clear acrylic organizational bins for a pantry you don't even use.
Literally. They just sit there as a monument to your late-night anxiety-induced scroll shopping. And third, you need an emergency candle collection.
Like 12 different heavily scented, oversized candles.
Yes, waiting to be lit for quote-unquote ambiance, when in reality, they are strictly used to mask the smell of the massive Thai takeout order you placed because neighborhood politics drained your energy.
You couldn't even boil pasta.
I could not boil pasta.
I mean, the visual of the Amazon packages acting as monuments to anxiety is profound. It's the physical manifestation of trying to buy control, but your pack is very aesthetic.
What do you mean? What am I missing?
You are missing the underlying structural paranoia of true suburban survival. Let me counter.
Okay, let's hear it.
Item 1. A smartphone displaying a neighborhood group chat with exactly 87 unread messages.
Oh, my blood pressure just spiked. That notification bubble is where happiness goes to die.
It is entirely dedicated to passive-aggressive surveillance. It's people noting whose recycling bin has been on the curb for 14 hours too long, or posting blurry ring camera footage of a squirrel.
It's the panopticon of the suburbs.
Exactly. Item 2. Workout clothes that will absolutely never see the inside of a gym.
Oh, wait. I am clutching my pearls right now.
High-performance, moisture-wicking luxury gear. They serve one sociological purpose, which is speed walking past your rivals at the Sunday farmers market to project physical superiority.
I am literally wearing leggings right now that were engineered for an ultra marathon, and the most rigorous thing I did today was lean over a patient's mouth.
Which is the perfect segue. And item 3, just to finish my list, a dog that somehow legally runs the household.
Yes, the doodle mixes. They have better gastrointestinal specialists than the actual humans living there.
They absolutely do. But you brought up leaning over a patient's mouth, which we should remind the babes about.
Yes, babes, just a reminder. Between reality TV spirals, we are actually practicing dentists at different clinics.
Right, which means we spend 8 to 10 hours a day up to our wrists in plaque. navigating the deeply personal neuroses of the general public.
We are basically captive therapists holding high-speed drills. So let's do our highs and lows of the workday, dentist edition.
A dental chair strips away all behavioral filters so we see the extremes. What was your high today?
Okay, my high genuinely restored my faith in humanity, which I needed before watching this cast tear each other apart. I have this patient, an 82-year-old grandmother.
Ah.
Yeah, and every time she comes in, she brings a Ziploc bag of slightly crushed butterscotch candies from the bottom of her purse.
That is so pure.
Right. And today, after I finished her scaling and root planing, which is super uncomfortable, she grabs my gloved hand, looks me dead in the eyes, and tells me I have a healing aura.
Oh, wow. That is incredibly sweet.
It was just this profound moment of connection in a sterile space. What about you? What was your high?
My high is purely observational and rooted in the absurd sociology of the workplace break room.
Oh, no. What did they do?
Well, I've been conducting a silent psychological study on a coworker who insists on microwaving hard-boiled eggs and tuna fish for lunch every single day.
No. That is a literal crime. That is an act of workplace terrorism.
I watched this person place their pungent seafood in the microwave today, and while the entire office's air quality was being dismantled, they sat at the table and meticulously organized their desk paper clips by size.
Large, medium, small.
Perfectly aligned. It was a masterclass in chaotic neutrality, completely detached from the sensory violence they were inflicting.
How do you even practice medicine after smelling that? People are already nauseous.
I use it as exposure therapy, which transitions seamlessly into my low of the day. Because my patience was tested to its absolute limit.
What?
I was working on a complex bicuspid restoration, drill engaged, suction active, cotton rolls wedged in, and this man, completely immobilized, attempts to initiate a highly technical monologue about the future of cryptocurrency.
While you are drilling into his tooth.
Yes, he's trying to explain blockchain decentralization to me.
The physical danger of trying to articulate the word Ethereum while a spinning diamond burr is millimeters from your tongue.
He knew I couldn't leave. He used his own dental surgery as a captive platform to pitch me crypto. I was sweating through my scrubs.
It's always the crypto guys. They have no boundaries.
None. What was your low?
Just a massive spike of adrenaline. We had an emergency root canal come in, 10 out of 10 pain. But it hit right in the middle of a block where I was double-baked with back-to-back fillings.
The gridlock is the worst.
I was sprinting between operatories like a line cook on a Friday night. You get to project serene competence for the cavity patient and then power walk into the next room to manage acute trauma. The emotional whiplash is exhausting.
The cognitive load of task switching is massive. But honestly, if you look at the baseline stress of our clinical lives,
It is nothing compared to this show. Our clinics possess about 1% of the toxicity of this friend group.
not even 1%. I would do blindfolded molar extractions for a 12-hour shift before I would sit down for lunch with Janet.
Same. But before we cross the threshold into that mess, we have to do our weekly confessions. What is the absolute most suburban thing you did this week?
This is deeply embarrassing because of how strategic it was. I got trapped in a 20-minute conversation with my neighbor in the driveway.
Okay, about what?
It was an exhaustive logistical breakdown of vacuum cleaner technologies.
Wait, you spent 20 minutes talking about household suction.
Yes. We cross-referenced the Dyson against the Shark Stratos. We discussed particulate filtration and the maneuverability of motorized brush heads on medium pile carpet.
The fact that you applied the scientific method to a shark stratos is tragic.
But then we pivoted. We spent another 10 minutes on a complex geometric analysis of how to park our vehicles to optimize turning radiuses while avoiding the automated sprinkler systems.
That is pure middle-aged logistical optimization. But honestly, adulthood sneaks up on you, and suddenly infrastructure is fascinating.
It really is. What was your suburban delusion this week?
Mine is rooted in manifesting peace. I went to the grocery store, and they had a massive sale on organic produce. 2-for-1 premium berries.
The luxury berries.
Yes, the ones in the nice containers. I got a literal dopamine hit. I bought 6 containers, brought them home, drew a baking soda and vinegar bath in the sink, soaked them, dried them on a microfiber towel, and put them in clear acrylic bins.
You manicured your refrigerator as a psychological barricade against the unpredictable nature of existence.
I really did. And then I went into the living room and spent 45 minutes rearranging my throw pillows. I genuinely believed if the berries were washed and the pillows were symmetrical, the chaos of the world couldn't touch me.
It's a textbook response to environmental anxiety. When we can't control the macro stresses, we seek micro-control over our immediate physical environment.
And going to bed at 10:15 p.m. after doing all that, supreme power move. I felt invincible.
But as much as we try to sanitize our lives, human nature is messy. Which brings us perfectly into the absolute wreckage of The Valley Season 3, Episode 17, Guilt Tripping.
Babes, enough about our own delusions. Let's head into the Valley, where every casual get-together turns into a full-scale emotional investigation.
The thematic undercurrent here is the complete breakdown of diplomacy. We are watching an ecosystem that has completely fractured into two uncompromising sides.
Team Janet versus Team Danny and Nia. And the middle ground is just gone, vaporized.
It's suffocating. Reviewers are literally comparing this friend group's dynamic to the intense political polarization in America right now.
I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
And the mechanics of the division are exactly the same.
Right. And obviously we're remaining completely impartial here regarding actual politics. Whether you're left or right, it doesn't matter. The metaphor works because these reality stars have dug trenches so deep, they view the opposing side as fundamentally evil.
There is no nuance. You are either 100% loyal or you are a traitor. You can't even say, hey, Janet was wrong here, but Danny was wrong there.
Exactly. If you show grace to the enemy, you become the enemy. And watching Nia and Danny navigate this is fascinating, especially with their media tour.
Oh my gosh, the media tour.
Yeah.
Nia just did an entire segment on Fox News discussing the virtues of traditional marriage.
And Danny followed it up with a bizarre Us Weekly article, a list called 10 Things I Do Instead of Watching Porn.
I read it. Number one was, go outside and look at the stars. And another one was, watch a DVD of me and Nia.
It's highly calculated PR.
See, my hopeful heart wants to think they are just leaning into their authentic brand. Like maybe they are just a wholesome couple trying to be a light in a dark media landscape.
Your optimism is fundamentally misplaced.
You think so?
I know so. They are visibly miserable in this ensemble. They know they cannot survive long-term in an environment fueled by screaming matches at Chili's. They are building a lifeboat.
So they are courting a totally different demographic.
They are laying the groundwork to pitch a spin-off or a hosting gig on a network that caters to traditional values. They're using the Valley to audition for a different life.
Wow. Playing chess while everyone else is throwing drinks. But while they plot their exit, other relationships are literally crumbling. We have to talk about Kristen and Luke's therapy trauma.
We need to analyze this meticulously because what happened in that office was a profound demonstration of emotional detachment.
I was horrified. So they are sitting on the couch with this postpartum family therapist. Kristen is being vulnerable about her pregnancy stress, their history of loss, the lack of communication.
And the therapist is actively trying to guide them toward empathy.
Right. And then Luke just detonates the session.
Yeah.
He confesses that his frustrations made him wonder if he, quote-unquote, fucked up the relationship.
And then he brutally states, pregnant Kristen is someone I hadn't met yet.
My heart broke for her. To be dealing with a catastrophic cocktail of postpartum hormones, trying to navigate your changing body, and your partner tells you that your pregnant self was a monster.
The complete absence of self-reflection from Luke is staggering. He viewed her pregnancy entirely through how it inconvenienced him.
Exactly. Her anxiety was a biological survival mechanism after a miscarriage, and his response was to emotionally abandon ship.
It shocked a trained professional. The therapist actually broke clinical neutrality to call his comment a zinger.
When your therapist calls it a zinger, you have crossed a severe line. And the music got so ominous.
But the wild contradiction here is that Luke complains about how miserable he was during the pregnancy, yet immediately pushes to have another baby right away.
Yes. Make it make sense. Why rush back into a dynamic you just said was torture?
It is a textbook manifestation of avoidance coping.
Wait, break that down for me.
By fixating entirely on a hypothetical future, like having another baby, he doesn't have to do the grueling emotional labor of fixing the fractured foundation they are standing on right now.
Oh, wow.
He views a child as a checklist item for his life plan, not a physiological journey for his partner. He wants the result without managing the turbulent process.
That is so incredibly selfish. And Kristen is being the pragmatic one. She rightfully wants to wait and get a better grip on her mental health. She's taking accountability.
And he views it as a delay in his schedule. The messy partner often acts as a lightning rod for the group's heat, while the quote-unquote calm partner hides their severe dysfunction.
I totally see that now. But speaking of partners using timelines to force an issue, we have to get into the visa drama with Zack and Benji.
The anxiety was vibrating off the screen in this scene.
So they debrief after meeting an immigration attorney. Benji is Canadian, his visa is precarious, he can't legally work. The attorney says marriage could solve it.
Which forces the biggest elephant in the room onto the table.
Right. Benji drops a massive ultimatum. Kids are non-negotiable, and he wants a firm surrogacy timeline. And Zack panics.
Zack exhibits a massive stress response and asks for a whole year just to decide if he even wants kids.
A whole year. I feel for both of them, honestly. Zack is right that you shouldn't have a kid unless you are 100% enthusiastic. You can't do it just for a visa.
But Benji's completely justified in knowing what he wants and watching his prime years slip away waiting for a paralyzed partner.
Yes, but Zack's immaturity is staggering here.
When discussing Benji's frozen legal status, Zack dismissively waves his hand and refers to it as that temporary work thing.
I gasped. I had literally gasped.
You are a 37-year-old man, your partner's life is suspended by the federal government, and you reduce it to a temporary work thing. Can a relationship realistically survive a give me a year to decide standoff?
No. It's like being in a car rolling toward a cliff and asking the driver for 10 minutes to check the map. The environment is forcing an answer right now.
The immigration system does not pause for Zack's emotional processing speed. If you need 365 days to figure out if you want a family after years together, the answer is no.
He just wants Benji to be the bad guy and pull the plug so he can play the victim. It's so dark. But if we want to look at how to dissolve a partnership with actual grace, we have to talk about the divorce diaries.
The contrast is jarring. In a landscape of dysfunction, the finalized divorcees somehow emerged as the healthiest unit on television.
Jesse and Michelle. Michelle goes over to Jesse's house to finalize and sign the divorce papers. Normally on Bravo, this is where wine gets thrown.
Decades of resentment weaponized.
Exactly.
Oh.
But instead, it's tearful, moving, and so amicable.
Yeah.
Jesse brings out this physical box of saved cards and letters for their daughter, Isabella.
To prove she was made out of love, regardless of how the marriage ended.
I shed a real tear.
Yeah.
They are beautifully prioritizing their child, and they toast with champagne that Schwartz gifted them.
It was a masterclass in compartmentalizing romantic failure for parental duty. However,
Oh boy. I know where you're going.
the psychological whiplash in the very next scene was lethal. We transition directly from this sacred morning of their union to Michelle on a motorized tiki boat.
The tiki boat.
She steps onto this boat with Schwartz and Lala holding a cocktail and vibrantly announces she is dating famous comedian Max Amini, a guy with 10 million followers.
And allegedly Dr. Dre later on.
The juxtaposition of weeping over divorce papers and immediately bragging about infiltrating celebrity dating culture by lunch is peak LA chaos.
It is the LA survival instinct. The ink on the notary stamp wasn't even dry. But honestly, throwing yourself into dating is a classic coping mechanism to reclaim your identity.
She is an apex networker using proximity to fame as an emotional buffer. But let's stay on that tiki boat. Schwartz is doing what he does best.
Schwartz. First of all, his new girlfriend, Kiana, now has a key to his place, which he just slips in there.
But more importantly, he assumes his role as the passive-aggressive bone collector.
Yes. He stirs the pot. He tells Lala and Michelle that Jesse was sympathizing with Janet's trauma, which angered Danny and Luke, but Kristen was dismissive of it.
His mechanism of stirring the pot is a case study in plausible deniability. He delivers it in this bumbling tone, calculating the exact explosive impact it will have on Lala, who is Janet's protector.
And it works. Lala is activated, which flows directly into Brittany's mommy makeover photo shoot.
Let's analyze this environment.
Brittany is celebrating her post-surgery body with this boudoir shoot. She's still swollen, but she's celebrating anyway, which I love. Kristen and Lala are the hype squad.
But they are fundamentally incapable of escaping the faction war. The moment they sit down, it devolves.
The focal point becomes Zack and his inability to choose a side. Brittany is hurt because Zack keeps defending Danny.
And Kristen, trying to defend her side, accidentally triggers a catastrophic operational failure.
Brittany asks if Kristen is guilt-tripping Zack, and Kristen says, I don't guilt-trip Zack, Nia does.
In 3 seconds, Kristen accidentally threw the pristine captain of her own team directly under the bus.
She outed Nia. My worldview was shattered because Nia has this flawless, sweet, pageant queen persona.
Which is what makes her dangerous. And this is where Lala delivers the funniest, most devastating read of the season.
The mob boss.
Lala explicitly compares Nia to a mafia mob boss. She sits at the head of the table, keeps her hands clean, and implies she wants a hit taken out.
And Kristen is the volatile foot soldier who does the dirty work.
Kristen takes all the public heat while Nia maintains her angelic reputation. It is terrifyingly accurate.
I mean, Nia never raises her voice, but when Zack posts a photo with Janet, Nia corners him off camera and softly says, I guess you're besties with Janet now.
She applies immense psychological pressure by leveraging her sweetness as a weapon. She makes Zack feel like he disappointed an angel.
Nia is playing three-dimensional chess, and this realization prompts Lala to have the empathy talk with Kristen.
The most layered, metatextual scene of the episode.
Lala visits Kristen privately. She explains that Janet's abrasive behavior is rooted in past sexual assault trauma. She begs Kristen to show grace and separate the petty feud from this profound trauma.
And Kristen responds by saying she can have, quote, empathy from afar, but refuses to trust or befriend Janet.
Honestly, I think Kristen is genuinely setting a mature boundary here. She's saying, I won't diminish your pain, but I won't let you abuse me. Prioritizing her peace is fair.
I vehemently disagree. You are analyzing it at face value and ignoring reality TV production architecture.
What do you mean?
Lala is not coming over to be a good friend. She is acting as a producer. She is giving Kristen a covert warning.
A warning?
Yes. Kristen, if you go on camera and dismiss another woman's trauma over a group chat grudge, the audience will annihilate you. You will look like a monster.
Oh my God.
Watch Kristen's eyes. She realizes she's backed into a narrative corner. Empathy from afar is just a legally compliant PR dodge. It's pure self-preservation, maintaining her stubbornness.
That is such a cynical read, but it makes absolute sense. They are producing their own storylines. But speaking of situations spiraling out of control, we have arrived at the epicenter.
The Chili's catastrophe.
The main event. Janet hosts a quote-unquote casual lunch at Chili's, but she pointedly excludes Kristen and Nia.
This was a calculated loyalty test. By removing the opposing leadership, she forces everyone who attends to publicly declare their allegiance.
Using Southwestern Eggrolls as geopolitical leverage, Janet is flexing that she spent $600 a month on McDonald's breakfast while pregnant.
An impressive logistical feat, frankly.
But the hypocrisy.
You got it.
Lacey is sitting there acting perfectly fine, even though Kristen claimed Lacey had a literal parking lot meltdown about seeing Janet.
The peripheral members are desperately playing both sides, but the facade shatters when Zack tries to mediate.
Zack asks the group to give Danny some grace, and Janet furiously refuses. She notes she got zero grace for her mistakes, so she won't give it to Danny.
And that absolute refusal to compromise makes Brittany completely snap.
She loses it. She delivers the line of the episode. You are not my Kentucky Zack anymore. She accuses him of blind loyalty to Danny and Nia.
So Zack is backed into a corner, facing the implosion of a 20-year friendship. How does his body process this?
He abruptly excuses himself to the bathroom, literally sharts his pants, and has to throw his underwear away in the Chili's trash can.
The pure indignity of ruining a perfectly good Chili's outing with a gastrointestinal emergency.
I was laughing so hard I was crying, and he blames it on antibiotics. He has to protect the Chili's brand.
You cannot script a grown man disposing of his underwear next to a baby changing station while his best friend waits to scream at him. Biology asserts dominance.
It's reality TV gold. Okay, we need to transition to our segments. Valley MVP. Who carried the episode?
My assessment is data-driven. Lala Kent.
Okay, defend it.
She delivered the funniest, most brilliant read by diagnosing Nia as the mob boss, and she acted as conflict mediator, forcing Kristen into a PR retreat. Flawless execution.
Very logical.
Yeah.
But I am selecting Jesse Lally.
Jesse, defend that fiercely, because his track record is abysmal.
He delivered the biggest surprise. In an episode of adults acting like toddlers, Jesse gave us a mature, tear-jerking speech during the divorce signing. It was the emotional grounding the show needed.
I concede the archival box of letters was a highly effective maneuver. Okay, segment 2. Who started it? Breaking down the Chili's argument. Who was right?
I argue Brittany has been holding in her hurt for years. She finally snapped because Zack ignores her feelings to protect Danny. Zack owes her an apology.
I argue Janet started it. She engineered a casual lunch into a high-stakes loyalty test. Zack walked blindly into a trap, Janet poured the gasoline, and Brittany threw the match.
But can the Kentucky friendship realistically recover after a public shunning and sharding?
Statistically, no. When you say you aren't my Kentucky Zack anymore, you strip away the foundational identity. It's structural failure.
Oh, so sad. Okay, segment 3. Friendship power rankings. Rank 1.
Jesse and Michelle. The finalized divorcees have the best communication and zero drama.
Rank 2 goes to Lala and Brittany. They are loyal, forming a solid alliance against the mob boss, communicating well.
Rank 3 is Kristen and Nia. High loyalty but high drama, and Kristen is accidentally snitching on Nia. A mob boss cannot sustain a leaky foot soldier.
And rank last.
Zack and Benji, zero communication on life goals. Or Zack and Brittany, completely imploded. Zack is hemorrhaging interpersonal capital.
He really is. Okay, final segment. Next week's predictions for the finale.
The Victorian vampire masquerade party will be a bloodbath.
I predict Danny will try to apologize, but make it so much worse. I'm a good person, but you made me yell.
My chaotic theory, based on the previews, Danny attacking Jason's bum leg will lead to a physical altercation. And I theorize Zack will wear an adult diaper to the party just to be safe.
Oh my God, he has to. The liability is too high.
Strictly as a preventative measure.
Babes, this show is shaving years off my life, but I can't look away. So Snark Squad, we want to hear from you. Who do you think was the true MVP?
And we demand confessions in the comments. What is the absolute most suburban thing you've done recently? Vacuum logistics. Throw pillows. Tell us.
Yes. And which of these messy friendships are you actually still rooting for?
Ugh.
Babes, thank you so much for spending your time drinking and spiraling with us.
Please remember to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and share the show with another reality TV-loving bestie.
Stay messy, stay fabulous, and we'll see you on the Snark side. But before we go, one final provocative thought to mull over.
Oh, leave them with a cliffhanger.
If reality TV is just a mirror of our own social circles,
Yeah.
who is the mob boss in your group chat?